After quite possibly my personal favorite race all season long in Season 6 of the JBL Cup Series last week at Nashville Super Speedway, we head up to the Northeast for the first of 2 races in a row, and 2 races remain in the Season 6 regular season. Here today we are at the Magic Mile of New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a track that is kinda hard to pass, but a track where we saw a 1v1 battle last year, and we could see a 1v1 battle once again. We got a chase car battle, a regular season battle, and a wild card battle, all with 2 races to go, and it is time to do battle for 75 laps for the Xfinity 10g 300 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. What's up everyone, this is your boy Racing 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And it's crazy that we are up to this point already, but this is race 17 on the season, and after today it will be the regular season finale next week on 4th of July weekend at Polk Island. What a season it has been, and what a parody type season it has been, and we still had it. The last 2 races, Justin Seidel won at All America, and Eli Bryant won last week, and he saw some pole, and you know what, that's 2 poles in a row, and he won last week from the pole. So we'll see what ends up happening. In this one we got drivers all over the place on the racetrack that are all over the place on the standings, and one of those drivers is Stuart Grant, 3rd in points. If he has a solid day, he can easily mathematically lock himself in, but he starts 32nd here today, and that could really hurt him for the regular season title. We got Elijah back up in the booth, and welcome to the track that plays host to race 17 on the season.
Good to be here.
This track is a very unique racetrack, nothing like what we see in the rest of the season and the entire season. It's a flat 1 mile racetrack, kind of multi-groove, but you kind of want to be on the bottom. And last year, of course, this was caution free, but if anything it has shown us this year, last year does not matter. So how do you think this one will go here with 2 races to go in the regular season?
It possibly might go a little bit similar to what we saw last year, with all the drivers kind of keeping it clean and green and minding their own P's and Q's to take it all the way to the checkered flag. Caution free, that is. But this year it might be a little bit different, because now this year there's a possibility that tire wear is going to be a major issue coming into this one. I mean, it's possible, not 100% guaranteed, so we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But other than that, I think we're gonna see the same product.
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be a lot of good racing, and we touched on it. We got a little bit of a softer tire, not outrageous, but it's gonna be about a second after 2 seconds to fall off instead of 1 second last year. So that's gonna be a little bit interesting, but we gotta wait and see what ends up happening here in this one, and with all the drivers that are battling for the regular season title and trying to get into the chase themselves. Here are the point standings in the race to the chase standings with 2 races to go. Logan Williams, Mr. Consistent this season, doesn't have a win yet. Could have won at Nashville, didn't quite get the job done. He's locked in already, and he is the new point leader, 90 points above the car flying, and then Mogul Dawn is in second, 80 points above. The max points you can get in this series is 40, and we have 2 races to go, so 40 times 2 is 80. So Mogul Dawn is basically in on points already. Stuart Grant, he just needs a solid day, and he should be good as long as he has more than 40 points above the car flying. He's 79 in. And then Andrew Miller, the driver that we thought was gonna get 10 wins this season, and he's kind of been on a slump as of late, but he is currently 64 in. Jordan Edwards, 54 in. Matthew Hubert in 6th plus 41. Juan Kennington in 7th plus 34. Juan Garcia, ever since that Willow Springs win earlier in the season, has been very consistent, plus 27. Sam Deal, plus 15. And Duncan was a big jump up with a good top 5 one last week. And a crazy Nashville race is now 10 points in and John Anders is 10 points out. Jordan Stout, the Daytona 500, 14 points out, but has wildcard number 1. And then this is very interesting. Aaron Abel and Alexander Vitale, they are tied in the point standings, but Aaron Abel has 5 top 5s, and Alexander Vitale has 2 top 5s, so therefore that second wildcard spot as of now goes to Aaron Abel, who unfortunately had an engine expire right on the restart last week. Trey Ball, minus 21, still could point his way in. Matthew Burnett, minus 25. Nick Lopez, minus 28. Joe Witkowski, minus 38, could maybe have to do what he did two seasons ago and maybe get a late season wildcard push, and we'll see if we can do. And Alexander, who won at Talladega, is 53 out and not looking too good in the wildcard picture. And then Justin Zeidel, minus 72 out. And then, of course, Eli Boyd, he is 80 points below, has that win. He has a slim shot at making it with the wild card, but he's going to need a lot of help. But starting on pole will do that for you, and he is on pole, and alongside is the driver that he battled with for the win late last week of Logan Williams, Matthew Burnett, and Joe Witkowski. The other half of that 1-2 for Legacy Motor Club starts 4th. Eric Monaco and John Anders in 6th place. Jordan Edwards and Anna Miller the top 8. And then roll number 5, how about this? Matthew Hubert and Zachary Fitzwater lining out the top 10. And then, of course, one of the biggest stories, Stuart Graham, 3rd in points, just all the way back in 32nd position. Well, 2 races to go until the regular season completes that Pocono next week. Some drivers are already locked in, meanwhile others are trying to get themselves into the chase. Who is the pick to win and get a lobster in victory lane here today at New Hampshire?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I mean, we saw Eli Bright and also Logan Williams. They were definitely the two classes of the field, you know, when it comes to battling for the win. And here they are, they're starting on the front row. So, I mean, those two guys are going to be guys to watch out for. But my personal pick, I'm going to go for the guy starting in the 6th position. That'd be John Andrews in the 34. Has a lot of speed. He's starting up in the top 10 in the 6th position. He might have something up his sleeve by the time this is all said and done.
Not bad pick. John Andrews was a top 5 contender last week at Nashville, but things didn't quite work out, and he's been around that color battle all year long, and he's back at it. So we'll see what ends up happening. What a season it has been so far, and we will see on who ends up winning here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Race 17 on the season is Green Flag Racing for the Xfinity 10g 302 races to go in the season's 6th regular season. Oh my goodness, look when it's trying the high side. Allowing Eli Boyd in 3 and 4, not gonna quite work out for him. But Eli Boyd will lead lap number 1, but how much longer? Logan Williams does not have a win yet this season, and he really wants one here today, clearly in that number 38 machine. Burnett in the 3rd spot, and he's had a up and down season for him, and he's still in contention for a chase spot. Monaco and Witkowski, and these drivers are going all over the place, knowing that this is when they need to make as many positions as possible early on.
Yeah, and I definitely like that move that Logan Williams just pulled there right at the start of the race. Went to the outside to try to make things work up there, and I think that might have encouraged some other drivers, like even the 20 of Matthew Burnett, and even some others, even the 43, Joe Witkowski, John Andrews, to try that outside, see if they can get any sort of grip working up there. And I mean, Logan Williams almost pulled it off, but you can see the top 5 single file over here until we get back to Andrew Miller and also Eric Monaco in that 16. They're fighting it pretty hard for that 6th position, but it looks like Miller's going to get the advantage going into turn number 1. And we've seen for the last 3 laps, now coming up on 4, you see this especially going through turns 3 and 4. Watch as these drivers go through the corners. They're going to go as low as they possibly can, especially when you look further in the back. There's drivers that will go lower than those dotted lines towards the bottom end of the racetrack, and that's a flat part. I touched on it last year, and there's really no grip down there. So once you get down there, you're going to have to start lifting through the corners just a wee bit, because unfortunately, that's not where I guess you could say the fastest way around the racetrack is.
Yeah, definitely not. And that's the unique thing about this racetrack is unique as a whole, but also with that, the very inside lane is almost debanked, and you really don't want one that. You really want one the second and third lane here at New Hampshire. And I think Logan Williams has a good car once again here today, and he might have a shot at Eli Bright, Burnett, Witkowski, Andrews to the top 5, Miller in 6th, Marco in 7th, Jordan Edwards in the 8th position, and Abel in the side of the top 10. He's around that wild card battle, and he's doing exactly what he needs to do. And Duncan Wood, he's starting to get good late in the regular season. Got a great one last week, top 5-1. He might be able to sneak his way into the chase here for RCR. I'll quickly see on the recovery of Stuart Glenn, and not that well for the number 47, so 32nd, and he's only in 30th, so that's the struggle of New Hampshire, and a struggling start for the number 47. But I'm liking Logan Williams here, and honestly, kind of like the 43 as well. Looks to be pretty competitive up front, but it's all Eli Bright, the same way we ended last week, same way we are starting here today.
Yeah, and I'd say for Stuart Gratton, I mean, it's not the most encouraging thing to see him start in the back and then try to pick his way through the field one by one. So far within these first 8 laps, he's already picked up 2 positions, but I mean, it's still very early in this race, so we've still got a long ways to go. And there it was. I just touched on it a little bit ago. Joe Rutkowski went down on the flat part. Guess he must have tried to diamond it into the corner, and now he's got a pretty good run on Matthew Burdett here as they come back into turn 1. Pulled up alongside, coming off of 4. Held it down the front straightaway. Now here they are through turn number 2. Rutkowski's going to pick himself up another position here, but I think Burnett has got some other plans. That outside line proven to be a pretty good benefactor here for Burnett, but looks like the inside line here through 3 and 4 is going to be the way to go.
Yeah, looks like the outside lane is a bit more competitive than it was last season to at least maintain the position, and not going to look out for Burnett, but you might have a 1-4. Witkowski again, John Anthony, the 1 on the inside up to 21. And it is still very racy here all throughout the top 10. And that's something that we didn't really see a lot last season. Look at the, oh my goodness. Look at the 11th and
all the way
April.
down on the flat for the number 9 machine. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, the 9 went all the way down to the bottom. Monaco went all the way high, and April splitting the middle, and he still might in the number 11. And he has to be careful because he's still in the wild card spot, and it's going to be through live with Matthew as well.
Ooh, that is very, very risky business right over here. 3 wide. But thankfully, the 16 of Monaco is going to, at least for the moment, try to edge ahead. But might want to be careful here. Oh, this is getting really close.
And April is not messing around. He is mad about what happened last week at Nashville. Had a shot at the race win, running in 2nd place before his engine blew up on the restart. And you know what? Who eventually got 2nd because of that? Eli Bright, and he won. So it's possible that Abel could have won last week, but his engine let down, and he won the inside of the top 10. And I think Logan Williams has a long one car. We saw that last week at New Hampshire. He had at Nashville. He had a 5-second lead at one point, and we got a little bit of more tire disadvantage this year than last year here, about a second after 2 seconds. So maybe Logan Williams can have another long one car here, and he's all over the back bumper of the 42. And for Lexi Motor Club, they're having some good luck finally after having a lot of speed but bad luck all year, but unfortunately might be too little too late for that team. And Logan Williams might make a one at the race lead here, all over the back bumper. He does not have a win yet. The season wants it bad, but he's not going to be able to take the race lead for now. And right now, John Andrews is having a good one he's ahead by about 5-6 spots over Duncan Woods. So that's going to help him a little bit. And it's going to cut that in half roughly. Same deal, he's having a solid 1. That's all he really needs to do. Only 15 points in. And then you got Juan Garcia deep in the field in the number 48. Great one for Zachary Fitzgerald. He's had some better ones as late in the regular season. But it is all Eli Boy out front. And it's going to get very interesting all day long as we keep on a close eye for the chase battle.
Yeah, right now everybody's, especially throughout the better half of the field, especially closing in towards the back half, everybody getting into a single file rhythm because we're a fifth of the way through this race and there's still a good ways to go. And patience is absolutely a virtue, especially in a 75 lapper here at Loudon. So we saw a little bit ago that last lap, Logan Williams definitely got loose there, but that's just trying to really put a lot of pressure here on Eli Bright because he knows he's got a faster car and he's going to absolutely use up the back bumper of the 42, and here comes Williams.
How about a little bumper tag there off turn number 4, a little bumper 1, and Logan Williams is saying, hey, Eli, you won last week, that's good for you, but I want to win this week. I want to win this race and possibly win the regular season title. And we have a new race leader of Logan Williams, and I think Wilkowski weighing in the reins. Might have a long one call in that number 43 machine, closing in side by side. And for Eli, he's gonna go all of a sudden from the race lead to possibly fall back to third here. Burnett closing in a little bit. Miller inside the top 5. He's gonna go way wide in that third groove. Jordan Edwards, and Aaron April all in here, and it's gonna be interesting on if one of these drivers can pull away from everyone else, and maybe they're just saving their stuff. For Burnett, it's been a very solid summer for this number 20 team. I don't know if he will make it into the chase, but he could get a top 15 points one in the season, and that would be still a very solid one from that 20 machine. And we are about halfway through this field one. It's about 40 laps, and we are almost at lap 20. So it's really getting to the point where these tires are falling off, and honestly, this is a lot better than I expected, and I've said that a lot this season. But Andrew Miller trying to get back into the regular season title fight. He's ahead of Logan Dorn, but he is trying to chase down Logan Williams, trying to have a shot at this title.
And as far as, for Andrew Miller goes, I mean, there's only 2 races left here in the regular season, so I mean and with so much time left, I mean you got to do something. You got to absolutely go, and that's exactly what Miller is trying to do. Take full advantage of whatever kind of ground or whatever kind of rope he's given, so that way he can try to capitalize on the opportunities that are given to him. Especially in this race, trying to catch up to Logan Williams, but. Time is, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head at the top of the show. Time is running out for a lot of these other drivers that are trying to get into the chase, try to get their spots. That way they can fight for a championship. And, it's definitely going to be, it's definitely going to be an uphill climb. I mean, and it just feels like it's just going to get absolutely steeper. I know that what I'm saying doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm just rambling at this point, so don't mind me too much. But the message still stands. Time is running out for a lot of these drivers, and they got to go, especially if you're Andrew Miller, who is trying to fight for that regular season championship.
Absolutely. Time is running out, and after today, we go down a short trip down to Pocono, and we crown a regular season champion. And this year, it's very important to be the regular season champion because I don't remember exactly of how I'm doing it, but I know I said it in the Discord at the start of the season, where first in points will get the most out of points, bonus points for the regular season championship, and then it'll be a little bit less the further you go down within the top 10. So that could be fairly important, especially when we get to the end of the season, because really finishing the regular season could give you enough bonus points to maybe win the championship by the end of the season in middle of September. So that's why it's very important, and that's what Logan Williams is trying to do. He's not won yet this season, but he probably should have a couple of wins up to this point, and he's starting to pull away from this field of Eli Bright and Joe Wilkowski and Lexi Mo Club. His second and third right now here at New Hampshire. And then Matthew Burnett and the Miller lands out the top 5. And this is what we saw last year, the long green flag won. But I think we might have to watch out for Sam Dio. He's kind of moving here on this long one inside the top 10 now.
Definitely showing that he's got a good long run car. Already moved up inside of the top 10, trying to go to work on the 5 of Matthew Huber, but he just went way high here through turn 3. That's going to open up the door for Duncan Ward to drive to the inside to possibly take back that 10th position here. Not quite able to make it happen across the line, but might try it again here through 3 and 4 next time by. Maybe through 1 and 2 if he's got himself a good enough run, but definitely not the case right here. The outside line, especially on the exit of turn 2, is definitely going to be the thing that helps Sam Dio retain that 10th position. And now here comes Monaco around the outside. So definitely what we're looking at here is turn 2. The outside line is definitely the preferred line to take, especially in corner exit. Turns 3 and 4 is the bottom. So definitely just saw that right there on full display.
Absolutely, and that might have been somewhat to Duncan Wood's cause. It was not that bad for Duncan Wood's teammate of Local Dawn, but still lost a little bit of ground. Battle just outside the top 10. Local Dawn all the way locked in, and it's been a very consistent season for the number 3 team ever since the win at Auto Club. Gonna move AF Monaco up the racetrack. And how about some of these drivers inside the top 15 having some much needed ones? Zachary Fitzwater in the 14th spot, Trey Ball in the 15th spot, and he's 15th in points, 21 points out, but that's not what he really needs, especially with some of his other drivers that he's contending with, Duncan Wood and John Adams and Aaron Abel all ahead of him. So that's going to be very interesting on what ends up happening for that. And then Crampton and Sam Vitale not too far behind. But one driver that we've not really seen all race long, who had a tough week at Nashville and is having a tough race again, if I can find him here, is number 23 of Jordan Stout. And I cannot find him. I cannot find Jordan Stout in the number 23 machine. So, don't know where he's at. I might just be blind, but
He's currently sitting in the 30th position, last I saw from the ticker.
Oh, he is in 30th. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's not good. He had a bad race at Nashville, had a tire go down late. Well, not late, early. And he's stuck in 30th. And for the Daytona 500 champion, he's in a battle with himself right now, because April and Sam Vitale are way ahead of him. And right now, the Daytona 500 champion might not even make it into the season 6 chase when he was top 10 in points for most of the season.
Yeah, that would be very unfortunate, and such a shame for Jordan Stout if he's not able to make it into this season's chase. Sitting here in this 30th position, especially as we're closing in on the halfway mark here of this race with 2 races to go. I mean, that's definitely not spelling good news here for Jordan Stout. It would be a tough break to see him miss this chase, but still got some good ways to go. We got pit stops coming up, so we'll see what kind of strategy Jordan Stout is able to pull to get himself back into contention and back into the conversation to make the chase for this season.
Definitely has a chance. I know that team's been very solid at some of the bigger racetracks. Might have to have a good one next week at Pocono. Miller was able to get past the number 20 of Matthew Burnett. But why do I say that? Burnett wants that 4th place spot back, but he's going to get blocked by Miller. And now here comes Aaron April in the 34 of John Adams. And you know what? I think we saw this last week at Hampshire, at Nashville. I keep on doing that. At Nashville, Aaron April was one of those drivers that had a long one car. And he has another long one car. So April definitely has the speed. I think if he makes it into the chase, he could be a sleeper, because he keeps on having these long one cars in these races. But John English wants that spot back, and we're still seeing fantastic racing all over the place as he's gonna move and able up the racetrack. Jordan Edwards inside the top 10, and Sam Dio still inside the top 10 as well. But you can just tell these tires are definitely falling off, and it's about a second and a half and that's a little bit more than what we saw last year. It's only a second, and it's a second and a half. And kind of like last week at Nashville, Logan Williams is pulling away with a 2-second lead right before pit stops.
Yeah, this is actually very impressive to see him actually check out to this margin, you know, and almost 2.5 seconds now between both of the Legacy Motor Club cars. And I'll tell you what, Eli Bright has definitely been very impressive, holding off his own teammate of Joe Rutkowski. Rutkowski has the faster car. He has made basically efforts to try to get around him on the inside or out, maybe on the outside, or even try to, I mean, right there, Rutkowski entered the corner just a little bit wider than what Eli Bright did. That costed him a little bit. You can see the gap, but these two have been nose to tail pretty much all race long ever since Logan Williams took the lead and ran away with it.
And I think Rutkowski might be getting a little bit frustrated, if you like, because I think he has a long one car faster than that 42, but he just can't get around him, and we might have trouble. Look at in the middle, he is really firing on all cylinders here late on his run. He has gapped number 20, 11, 34, 5, 77, 9, 8. All those cars are under a blanket, and in the middle has pulled away from those drivers, and he's trying to catch up to the Legacy Motor Club teammates right before pit stops. But you know, tell you what, this is just like last week at Nashville. As the 1 minute on, Logan Williams kept on expanding on his lead, and it got to 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5, and he had a massive lead before pit stops. And this is a lot like last week, but he didn't win. 3 seconds, 3.33 seconds last time by, and Logan Williams is just pulling away in that number 38 machine. And we might see lap traffic, maybe not before pit stops, but we might see lap traffic after pit stops, and that could be a whole another can of worms once we get to that point. And we might see him doing a good pit stop here, and that's going to be key. There's only one stop today instead of 2 at Nashville. And I'm going to ask you this as we're about 5 laps away from pit stops, give or take. What would you do? Would you want to take the undercut or the overcut here?
Well, personally, if I really wanted the track position, I personally would undercut it. Maybe take 2 tires and a splash of gas and just try to make sure that you're good to go for the rest of the finish. Well, good to go to the finish, I mean to say. But if you're, other than that, if you really want to try to, you know, have fresh tires, I would personally maybe overcut it. But personally, if I want track position, I'd undercut it.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think if you want track position, you gotta do the undercut, but gotta also think there's gonna be more tire wear, and it's about 2 seconds of fall off here, about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, and we're definitely seeing right now with Miller and Rutkowski. Miller is catching up to these Legacy Motor Club cars on the long run, and he might be able to do a good job here at setting himself up to maybe overpass these two before pit stops, or during pit stops, and then challenge Logan Williams for this race win. But we should see pit stops at any given moment here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
I didn't know Nashville took a whole different structure, but you know, nonetheless, I mean, this is definitely showing that Andrew Miller, I mean, he's got a good long run car, but I also do think he's been very much so saving up his tires in the process, you know, kind of just lurking back and not really taking it too aggressive. And we already got cars on pit road. Here we go. Race leader's in.
Yeah, here we go. I think a couple drivers pitted a lap sooner, like Monaco and Harrison in the 51, and this is a little bit sooner than I expected. I thought it was going to be around lap 43, but it ends up being lap 41. And this is going to open up everything. Logan Williams had a massive lead early on, but he's going to have older tires compared to some of his other competitors. Good pit stop for him. Eli Bright, the 43-21, 77-8, all down pit road, a busy pit stop, and this is going to be very interesting for some of those drivers, 2nd to 4th. They're going to have 1 or 2 at fresher tires on Logan Williams. Just pay attention to the Legacy Motor Club drivers and see if Rutkowski can overleap his teammate here on pit road. They get in at the same time, only separated by bots. There goes one of the drivers of BP Ruiz, separating them. And let's see what ends up happening with the 21 as well. All of them went down at the same exact time. And Miller had that first pit stop on the pit road entry, and an identical stop from the 42 and 43, and a fairly solid stop from the 21 as well.
Yeah, both Bright and Rutkowski pretty much were in sync there, but the only difference was it looks like Eli Bright was obviously was able to get the punch at the end of the pit stop. Contact there between Rogel Dord and Jordan Stout. Stout was just trying to leave the pits, and Rogel Doran trying to get in. They both made contact, but at least Rogel Doran is in his pit box, but at what cost?
Some drivers doing the overcut. Dylan Matthews, who blew up last week, is finally in. Juan Garcia trying to do the overcut, do a different strategy to maybe clinch a spot here to the end the season 6 chase, and those two drivers are in. I think that's the majority of them, because Fitzwater was all the way down on pit road. And oh no, exploded the motor.
Oh, that is so unfortunate there for Owen Miles, done for the day on lap number 44 with an expired motor. Tough break.
And it is the gearbox for him. And he's had a rough couple of races in that 31 machine. Went up for that World America, got turned exiting pit road, and then now with the explode. Exploded gearbox, and very unfortunate, but I believe the cycle has officially cycled through. And now we gotta see here, as Juan Garcia is actually still on pit road for the number 48. I don't know what happened to him, but he is stuck on pit road, and that is big time championship implications for the chase cutoff line. Logan Williams has a 5.5 second lead now after pit stops, caught up to the back part of the field of Brian Varga in the 14. Now that's going to be very interesting on how fast he can get through the lap traffic here. Eli Bright in second, Rutkowski in third, Miller looks strong in at 21, and how about Abel running inside the top 5, that number 11 machine. And he can make it into the Wild Cup, but he's also close enough where he's only 19 points out. If he has a good enough one, he could point his way in. That's a possibility, and he's having a good one inside the top 5. Marco just saw his teammate blow up. He running in 6th, and then these 200 teammates are going at it for the 7th position, as Sean Andrews, and then 34 has some left side damage actually. So don't know what happened to him. Apparently there's some chaos that happened on the pit road cycle. If anything happened, you guys will see it. But 34 with some damage. Burnett and Sam Adil battling for the 10th spot. Bardo, Wood, and how about this 51? White Wilkinson inside the top 15. Sam Vitale running inside the top 15. Nick Lopez and Ron Kennington, the other 200 cars, running inside the top 18. And this is not a good day for Local Dawn. Gonna be in on points, but might not have a shot at this regular season title going into Pocono next week. Crampton has been a struggling season for that 45 team, weighing in 20th. And how about Stuart Glenn? He's started 32nd. This track's hard to pass, but he's almost inside the top 20 in the 23rd spot. But oh man, a tough break for some of these drivers like Juan Garcia, showing Stout, and Owen Miles on that pit stop. But how about this for the 38? This is literally Nashville all over again. And he has almost a 6-second lead. But what happened at Nashville? We got to pit stops, and then a caution came out. We got through pit stops, and a caution came out. We still have plenty of time for a yellow flag to change the entire complexity of this race.
Yeah, closing in on 25 to go next time around here for Logan Williams. That's actually very impressive how he was able to open up his lead much larger than what he was able to, than what he was doing, actually, I mean to say, before pit stops even came around. And about a 6-second advantage over Eli Bright. And now we got to fight for third breaking out here, obviously, with Rutkowski and Miller But I mean, all that. I mean, that's good news for Eli Bright because now he can just check out here with this second position while you got Miller and Rakowski pretty much just using up their tires just a little bit more, trying to get around one another. So I mean, at this rate, it's also kind of shocking to me. On top of that, that with the big lead that Williams has on the rest of the field, especially second place Eli Bright, with the amount of traffic that Williams has to deal with, it's not even slowing him down whatsoever. He's just absolutely capitalizing on any sort of chance that he can get to increase his lead, and it looks like right here, Miller's going to win this fight for now.
And you brought up a fantastic point. I don't know how he's doing it, but Logan Williams is increasing his lead, even with the lap traffic, and that just shows of how fast of a car he has in that 38 machine. And he definitely does not have the fastest lap, as Jordan has the fastest lap, but I think Logan Williams is just the most consistent all the long one, and that's been playing a big part of him the last couple of races. He's going to lose a little bit last time by. And I think Andy Miller might be faster than these two, and we saw that before pit stops. Miller was faster than the Legacy Motor Club cars, and he got past the 43. Now he's all over the back bumper of Eli Bright. I don't think Miller has enough time to get up to the race to lead, but he's gonna move Eli Bright out of the way anyway. Poor Eli Bright's gonna move by Logan Williams and Amanda Miller here today, and he's still getting moved again from Miller, and Miller wants a shot. Oh my goodness!
Oh, a little bit of a door slam right there coming off of turn number 2. Just imagine if they didn't get off of one another there, then Bright would have reared the 21 of Miller into the outside wall, and that would have meant that Logan Williams' 6-second advantage would have been kissed goodbye at that point. But Miller saying, "Hey, I've got the faster car. Get out the way."
Well, this is a technical short track, only 1 mile, and it definitely races like a short track. And I think Eli's probably gonna have enough of that today, and he moved 3 times, and we'll see what ends up happening. And I will just give a shout out to Legacy Motor Club for Rakowski and Bright. They've had speed all season. They've had a lot of bad luck. Bright won last week, and of course it was 1-2 for them. They're not going to get 1-2, but they might get 3-4 here today, and that's still going to be very good for them. I don't think they can make it into the chase, but if they can keep up with this momentum, then they could be contenders for the last 11 races, and they could be a team that says, hey, just because we didn't make the chase doesn't mean that we can't win. So that could be a storyline that we have to watch out all chase long. But it's so far so good for Logan Williams, dominating this one here today. And he has a 6-second lead on the field. And tough bit for Juan Garcia. You guys already saw what happened to him, but very tough way for him, and not gonna help him for the race to the chase series. Pretty much everyone that is battling inside the top 10 in points are having a good one here today, besides Juan Garcia and Stuart Brown, but he's probably in.
Oh, yellow's out.
Uh oh. And it's the 16, the teammate of Owen Miles.
No way.
Oh my goodness, and it was a tire for Eric Marco. Oh,
what an untimely caution there for Logan Williams. Had pretty much the lead of his life, and it just got erased, all thanks to Eric Monaco. This is going to make the race very interesting. See if Logan Williams is going to be able to hold off Andrew Miller, but well, I don't know, man. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Boy, this is Nashville all over again. Logan Williams had a dominant car in a late race yellow. Changed everything. It's going to be about 15 laps to go. And for the 38 of Logan Williams, he is once again seeing copy and paste from last week. He's going to have to hang on to a late race restart and try to get his first one on the scene. That's a heartbreaker for Eric Marvel. He was just inside the top 10 in like 7th place. And the bad stretch of races for that Carl racing team continues for the last 3 races. And for Eric Marco, another top 5 one, but and he's not gonna be out. He shouldn't be out in the number 16. But tough break there. We're gonna get everyone waved around, and we're gonna have about 15 laps to go. And oh no! No!
Oh
No!
no! Oh my goodness. Nathan, I can't even believe what I'm seeing.
You cannot make this up. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god.
Are you kidding me?
That has got to be absolutely frustrating for Logan Williams right there. Motor expires right there on under caution. Under caution while leading the race. This is gonna sting more than Nashville. This has to sting more than Nashville. This happened. This 2 weeks in a row. Something has happened to Logan Williams. Especially after a caution's come out too. While being up towards the front of the field. This is just heartbreaking. And after all that, this is gonna give the lead to Andrew Miller.
Oh my goodness. At least Nashville, Logan still got a top 3 finish. He's not even gonna get a top 3 finish today. He's gonna finish all the way back in at least 34th. Oh my goodness. You cannot make this stuff up, bro. Let's see about the first caution. And let's get ourselves set up for a late race restart here for the Xfinity 10g 300. Gonna follow this one time, and when they inside the top 10, Eric Monaco has a Goodyear moment entering turn number 1. And I'm surprised that no one else was involved, because he stopped right in the middle of the racetrack. Right about there. And as you can tell, they had to split past the 16, and somehow no one was involved, and that's a tough break. Saw the 31 blow an engine earlier, and then the 16 had a Goodyear tire moment, so that's a very unfortunate break right there. And then of course we saw under the pace lap the moment of the race here. Logan Williams was doing just fine, and then a lap later under this caution period he blew a motor. So tough break for Logan Williams. You guys obviously saw that already, but because of that, Miller will be the race leader, and he will have the Legacy Motor Club cars right behind him, and April as well. And we're gonna wait and see what ends up happening with about 13 laps to go here in the Xfinity 10g 300. Let's get back to the restart here at New Hampshire. Welcome back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and on a season where we've seen crazy things, we've just seen another crazy one here. Logan Williams 2 weeks in a row really dominates, and he's not gonna win. At least last week he finished in 3rd until the point lead. He's not even gonna finish the race, and he might lose the point lead in all this. Might, because Will Goodwin's having a tough day, and Stuart Grant is not having a good day as well. But Andrew Miller trying to get his 5th win on the season, 6th overall if you count the All-Star race here. White in 2nd, Wachowski in 3rd, and Abel in 4th. Matthew Hubert in 5th, Jordan Edwards in 6th, and then John Andrews in 7th, Sam Deal in 8th, Butler in 9th, and Matthew Burnett will round out the top 10. Gonna be 13 laps to go. Who will win at New Hampshire? We are back going a bad restart for the field. They checked up a little bit. The 9 went to the inside, and it's gonna be a hectic restart like we saw at the start of the race. 13 laps to go.
But look at Andrew Miller. He got himself a really good jump on that restart, and it looks like he's taken full advantage of it. He's checked out by at least a 1/3 of a second over Eli Bright, heading back through turn 3.
Miller, I think, had the 2nd best color, maybe even the best color of the day, but you saw what happens if you have the fastest color here today, and we just saw Logan Williams blow up in smoke, so he's gotta be careful, and he's gotta realize that, hey, Eli Bright, he might have been saving his stuff on that one, just in case this happened. and he has to be very mindful of that. Lukowski and Abel still running inside the top 4. Abel does not need to win. He already has to win. He is in the wild card fight, but he wants another top 5. How about this aggressive move from Duncan Wood? 3 wide with Barlow and John Andrews. That was tight off of turn 4.
They were not giving each other room whatsoever on the exit of turn number 4. That got really risky between those 3, but thankfully they get off of one another and we stay green for coming up to 10 laps to go. San Badillo's trying to get all that he can here within these final 10 laps, coming up, getting to the inside of the number 9 of Jordan Edwards. But Edwards is going to make that outside line work here, coming off of turn number 4.
Looking really good for the drivers up front. And we'll see what ends up happening. What will these two drivers do from Legacy Motor Club? They are in striking distance. And I think Miller is either saving his stuff, or maybe Eli Bright was saving his stuff during that entire one when Miller was blowing up his stuff. Lukowski wants high. Maybe he's trying to draft with Eli Bright. We've seen some teammate stuff happen before, but not like this. Bright lost. Actually, no, he gained a little. He gained a little last time by. And would this be something if Eli Bright is able to somehow win 2 in a row late in the regular season? That would be something for that number 42 team.
That would be very impressive if Bright does go back-to-back here. Won at Nashville last week, trying to win here at Loudon this week. But so far, Miller pulling away just by a little bit more, probably up to half a second here once they cross the line. I think, honestly, if Eli Bright is going to go back-to-back, he's going to have to hope and pray that something similar happens to Andrew Miller, like something that happened to Logan Williams. Hopefully, he's hoping and praying that something happens to Miller.
Honestly, I have to agree. Miller's been the class of the field this season, and especially when he gets out front, and he can easily get the race win. And he's dominated 2 times, but he's, at the same time, he's kind of lucked his way into some race wins. And this would kind of be a lucky win, but he's been strong all day in that number 21 machine. I think Lukowski might be a little bit faster than Eli Bright. And I think Lukowski wants to get past him. Abel in the 4th spot, Hooper. And then how about Sam Deal trying to maybe get a top 5 here late in the 77th? Duncan Wood, John Andrews, and Troy Bell inside the top 10. Duncan Wood's teammate in the number 3 of local Dorn. This is interesting. Dorn was only 10 points out of the regular season title coming into today. And he's running inside the top 12. Sam Tolley with a good one. He might be in position to get a wildcard spot going into Pocono. And then still impressed by some of these ones inside the top 15. Light Wire Wilkerson in the 51. Zachary Fitzwater, Dylan Matthews, and some of these others like Bradley Weem as well. The 23 is moving. He's up to 21st with that late race restart. So he's not that far behind. He's only 10 points roughly behind of Sam Vitale. And then unfortunately, Stuart Ground is 2 laps down in the 47. I don't know what happened to Stuart Ground. He had the engine go down.
Oh no, that is unfortunate. And the even sadder part of the whole thing is he started in 32nd, and now he is right back to where he started at the beginning of the race in the 32nd position. So all that hard work unfortunately went to waste here for Stuart Gratton. That is a tough break for the 47 team.
The only bright side for him is that he was 79 points in, so he should easily have more than 40 points and he should be locked in. But it's not going to be a regular season title for Stuart Gratton in that 47 team this season. Oh my goodness, what a race this has been. It's been calm, but so many mechanical failures all day long. And I forgot to mention that the 48 had a fuel leak issue, so that's why he's on pit road. And it's an accident for the 47, so he might have gotten tagged by someone while he blew up. So you guys saw that in the corner of the screen. But Callis is going to get to the inside of Eli Bright with 3 laps to go. He's going to try and maybe challenge Miller for the race win. But I don't think it's going to be there. I don't think it's going to be enough time for the 43 to get to the 21. gonna clear a Blight. 2 laps to go. But Andrew Miller, he's done this twice this season. Really doesn't really have the best car all day. He doesn't dominate, but he gets the win. He's done this twice, trying to get that 3rd win in that scenario, and trying to get his 5th points pin win on the season for Andrew Miller. And he could be a true contender for the championship. He might be the championship favorite this season. And off turn number 4, it's going to be the Powerade 1 to go for Andrew Miller. What a race this has been. Much better than last year's race here at New Hampshire. White flag is out for Andrew Miller in the number 21.
I couldn't agree more there, Nathan. Rakowski obviously ran out of patience, moved around his teammates, say, hey, give me that 2nd spot at least. But Andrew Miller, 2 seconds out. Pretty much no competition around him as he heads through 3 and 4 one more time.
Andrew Miller might be a championship contender this season, and the guy that we have to keep an eye on. Win number 5 on the season, Andrew Miller will win the Xfinity 10g 300 at New Hampshire. But what a race that was here. Tough race for Logan Williams, but a great break for Andrew Miller. His 5th win on the season. The multi-season veteran is just continuing his season, his finally breakout season, if you want to call it that. But what a race here. Very fun one. We saw battles all over the place. I think you touched on it. The tire helped a little bit. There's a second half, there's 2 seconds of fall off instead of 1 second. And that definitely provides some more battles on the racetrack. But once you got out front, you just dominated. Logan Williams for the majority of this race. And then Andrew Miller late 5 wins. And he's going to have a massive advantage over the field once we get to the chase. With all the bonus points. He might have a shot at the regular season title. I think Gran's going to be out of it. Williams is still going to have a shot. And then Dorn and Miller as well. That is going to be interesting at Pocono next week. What a race here. Miller with the win. Rakowski in 2nd. Blight, April. That should be good enough for him to, I would imagine, possibly get inside the top 10 in points. Maybe. John Andrews got 10, so maybe not. But it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a scenario for April where as long as he finishes the day, he should be in either with a wild card or on points. Hubert in 5th. Sam Deal in 6th. Duncan Wood in 7th. John Edwards in 8th. Trey Butler in 9th. And John Andrews the top 10. Michael Dorn will be the new point leader, most likely. Was 10 points outside the point lead with Logan Williams, but of course Logan Williams had a engine failure. Matthew Burnett out San Vitale with a great one. That's going to move him up. But Stout 21st, so it's only going to be an 8-point difference between Stout and San Vitale on the racetrack. And Stout had a 5-point difference over himself and San Vitale, so it's still not going to be too close. And that might be close for the wildcard spot. The Wilkinson and Kennington, the top 15. Great one from Wilkinson, great one from Zachary Fitzwater. And what a race it was here today at New Hampshire. And unfortunately, Monaco, 2 laps down with the tire. Grannon, Logan Williams, Juan Garcia, and Miles all had tough days. But what a race here today at New Hampshire. And with 1 race to go, what's the final thoughts here in this one?
Well, I'd say when it comes down to the final regular season race on the season, for all these other drivers that are either in danger of missing out on the chase or either in danger of falling out of the chase field, they are definitely going to have to step up their performance when we go to Pocono next week. So it's going to make for a very interesting event. See what kind of strategies these drivers pull off, because we all know at Pocono, usually it can come down to fuel strategy. And if you run out of fuel in the front stretch, everybody knows it's a long way around to get back to pit road. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make it. You probably might get as far out as the tunnel turn, possibly, but nonetheless, it's going to make for some pretty interesting racing to see what kind of strategies again will be pulled here for the drivers that are trying to get into the chase and try to bump other drivers out. But I think it's going to make for a pretty wild race next week.
100%. Pocono, we've seen a little bit of everything ever since we started going there for the regular season. Now we've seen almost some late race free miles. We've seen some late race cautions. We've seen some caution-free races. We've seen a little bit of everything there, and it's gonna be a fun one. And next week, we will nail the field down from 36 to 12 drivers with a shot at the championship for the final 10 races. But what a season it has been. And for Andy Miller, it's his 5th win on the season. But he had to own it. I think it would have been very interesting if he didn't have local wins blow up right there. Could he have gone past the 38? We may never know. But tough way for the local rims there. It's been that type of a season, and he still cannot get the race win. He's going to be in the chase though. He already locked that up. So he's going to be in for the second straight season in a row. But we got to wait and see what ends up happening next week on 4th of July weekend for the Snapple Strawberry Kiwi 400. And it's going to be a fun one, as it always is. And what a fun season it has been. And we're going to wait and see on who will win and who will make it into the Season 6 chase for the JBL Cup Series next weekend on 4th of July weekend. And it's going to be a fun one. Thanks for Elijah for joining me here today. And congratulations once again to Andy Miller on the race win number 5 on the season, and 6 in total, including the All-Star race. We will see you guys next week for the JBL Cup Series and the Krispy Kreme National Series at the Tricky Triangle at Pocono Raceway. Bye!
Have a good one, y'all.